Okay, this will be a quick video. I want to talk about the Olympic Games. People have been covering it over the last couple of days. They've had their content ripped down from the internet. They've had cease and desist letters and emails sent to them directly from Paris 2024, whatever that means. So it'll probably be a very spicy topic to talk about today. But of course, it would be a UFC star that comes out vocally against what's been going on there. And it wasn't just the opening ceremony. There is some really disgusting and strange behavior actually transpiring during this event, and I guess people are supposed to shut their mouth and not talk about it, but that's not the case with UFC's Arnold Allen. He's come out and he's condemned the Olympics, and rightly so. It's absolutely disgusting, and it takes a little bit of gusto and balls to come out and do it, and you don't expect anything else from a fighter like Arnold Allen. We watched him last weekend against Giga Chikadze. Absolutely brilliant performance, as you can see on screen if it's playing there in the background. The fight against Max Holloway, absolutely awesome. And in terms of like the UFC and how they promote their stars, this guy is one of my favorites. This guy is down to earth, an absolute beast inside the octagon, can pretty much do it all for me. Probably a future champ. I would love to see it. Guys like Arnold Allen and Tom Aspinall, that's where it is for me. I like to see these homegrown absolute beasts of humans get in there and get the job done. And as we can see here, when I read through a couple of his tweets, he's as much of a badass outside the octagon as he is inside the octagon. First tweet that jumps out here is "F the Olympics," and you're kind of like, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one, pal. Always loved watching the Olympics when I was younger. It was always corrupt, but now it's beyond a joke. How can anyone support that shit? Yes, 100%. Keep going. I absolutely love it. The lowest is allowing the Dutch volleyball nonce to compete. Now, I went into these tweets, and fair play to Arnold Allen. He's actually interacting with people that are coming back and throwing bits and pieces towards him, and he's responding, and everything he's talking about is spot on. And I can't believe it's not a bigger story. I can't believe people aren't talking about it, especially when you have this like high level UFC fighter coming out talking about this stuff. But I guess if he was wearing nail varnish like Israel Adesanya or following a bird around like Ian Gary, he might be a little bit more famous, because we know them guys get promoted a lot more. What's he talking about in terms of the nonce stuff? I got to be careful with this one, but I'm going to bring up a little article on screen here, and as I said, we'll have to be very careful with it. Convicted child, this thing, competes in Paris Olympics 2024. Why it is not okay, right? So the vague cliff notes to this story is this lad is Dutch. He plays beach volleyball. He's allowed to compete there even after being convicted of that disgusting act, and people are kind of asking the question, why would that be allowed? Why should you be in the Olympics? And I came across some crazy stuff last night when I was researching this. So basically, Arnold Allen went back and forth with a couple of people over here. He says, was it Paula Radcliffe? He was talking about someone who was talking on GB News about this incident of the convicted child interactor. I did see that. I just don't understand it. It does run deeper. Surely we would refuse to play against a guy like that, or refuse to coach that guy. If I was the team physio, I would not help this man. Surely everyone is just turning a blind eye. Someone says that it's Emma Wolf, and he says, look, it's just insanity. So the person that he's actually talking about is this clip here, right?
You've got this Dutch guy who is has an actual conviction for child. I'm not going to use the term that you use, because I think that's a bit strong, child. But
what is a child rape?
But when you put them together, it seems so out of whack.
Child rape? She was 12.
I know, but then having listened to Bev's monologue this morning, I sort of agree with her.
Yeah, but
that people need.
She was 12. She was 19.
I know.
She's a child. She's a child.
He was a few years older than her. He's now grown up. Like, he would be able to carry on with his job in any other walk of life, and it's really hard when you make a mistake and you are never allowed.
Well, he wouldn't be allowed to
be forgiven.
He's not allowed to stay in the Olympic Village.
No, that's not true. It's not that he's not allowed to stay there. They've decided not to put him in there.
But he didn't appear at the press conference, which is a condition.
Yeah.
Which is a condition of appearing at the Olympics, is you have to go to the press conference.
One thing's for sure, this must be a deeply uncomfortable experience for him. He's away from the other athletes. He's got his wife
spotlight. And his 2-year-old with him.
I know. I think that was what.
So that, I assume, is what Arnold Allen is talking about in terms of insanity. We have these people talking on a panel here, talking about this guy being convicted for a disgusting crime. This chick is talking about how it's not as bad as it seems, and using them strong words shouldn't be allowed. And they actually go on to say that it has to be a deeply uncomfortable experience for him, not being allowed to stay with the other members of his team, and knowing that people are talking about this mistake that he made in the past. I don't care whether it's 19 and 12, 19 and 4. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And these guys should be called out. Arnold Allen is calling it out. And in terms of the Olympics being an absolute shit show, we also have this one right here. Boxers previously barred from women's events will fight at Paris Olympics. You're like, okay, so we've seen the videos going around yesterday of this biological male thumping the head off of a female boxer. I guess if we're progressive, we clap along to that and we're all like, oh my god, this is so enlightened because we're France or something like that. But for the majority of people that's seeing a male punch the head off of a female, there's a reaction that is invoked, and that's pretty much, one, how is this allowed? Two, I would love to jump the ropes and get into that ring right there myself. And three, it's just disgusting that we've landed in a place like this in 2024 where we're all supposed to clap along to a male beating a female. Disgraceful. As you can see here, boxer previously barred from women's events will fight at Paris Olympics. Algerian Amin Khalif and Taiwan's Lin Yu Ting were disqualified from last year's Women's World Boxing Championships after failing gender eligibility tests. What? So these lads can't even pass this like bizarre eligibility test to even compete in women's boxing. I guess they have to take a bunch of pharmaceuticals to try pass these tests, and these boys can't even pass them. And they're still in there thumping the head off birds, and we're all supposed to clap along and be like, oh yeah, great. You flick over to the news, they're talking about guys who've been convicted of disgusting crimes with young kids, and they're all going, it must be a deeply uncomfortable experience for him, everybody knowing what he did, because he's moved on now and he has a wife and child of his own. What bizarre world are we living in? As I said last week, talking about the opening ceremony, this is not shocking, this is not strange, this is not new. This is something that they're introducing into our school systems that they're teaching our young kids. That aided with the brain rot box of an iPhone that's indoctrinating your kids on a daily basis. When is enough enough? That's the question that has to be asked. For UFC's Arnold Allen, enough is enough right now watching this garbage. He's calling it out online, and rightly so. And I guess the same goes for all of us. The Olympics. If any of this made sense, do me a favor, hit like, subscribe and share. Cheers.